Good morning. Welcome to Randy's Corner, and I'm your host, Randy Clark. We're here on a beautiful Tuesday morning. A little chilly outside, but I got a real special guest here with me today. As y'all know, I'm focusing on the Marble Festival this month, and I've got my ace sculptor with me, Mr. Craig Brown, better known as Craiger Brown in the sculpting world. Good morning, Craiger.
Hey, Randy, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm sure glad you came because this morning we're gonna get a sculptor's view of everything. That's the biggest part of the Marble Festival.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, now tell us a little bit of something about Craig Brown.
Well, I'm a Birmingham native. Actually went to Vestavia, went to Montevallo on a baseball scholarship and studied graphic design there. And I'm of an age that when I finished, computers took over.
Right.
I didn't want to work on a computer. Fortunately, I had a little money left over and went to an abroad program in the south of France.
Okay.
In Lacoste, and started carving limestone there and just fell in love with it. They gave me a scholarship to stay for another semester, hired me as an assistant professor the next year.
Right.
And it's kind of funny, I wanted to work in the finest marble in the world, so I worked my way to Italy and got a Guggenheim scholarship to the Peggy Guggenheim in Venice, Italy for 4 months.
Right.
With the ultimate goal of making it to Carrara, which is right next to Pietrasanta, which is our sister city.
Okay.
And started carving there. And at that time, it was the oldest active stone studio in all of Italy, Studio Nicoli. Worked there for roughly 5 years, and then came back to Birmingham and set up a studio in Homewood. And I was going back and forth to Italy to buy stone, and then a friend of mine in 2011 showed me an article about the Marble Festival, and it was like the 3rd annual year, and I guess we're on 16 now.
Right. It was just getting started.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I came down and immediately fell in love with the marble here, and obviously the community, the people here have been unbelievable, and to a person, the sculptors that come in, they're just blown away.
Right.
It's like, hey, we're usually like in a cave somewhere and nobody talks to us and nobody gives us any attention, and just how welcoming and wonderful everybody is here in Sylacauga. And I tell people that the marble brought me here, but really the community is why I've stayed.
The people kept you here.
Exactly. This is a special place.
Well, I tell you, Craig, we not only love you as a sculptor, we love you as a person too. You're a great guy.
Well, hopefully I could give back. I'm that grateful.
You do. You give back by teaching others, and I got to go ahead and say this since we're on the subject, but one of my jobs during the Marble Festival is greeting the visitors. Mm-hmm. And when we have schools and people comes around and they really want to talk to a sculptor, you're my man.
Well, I love sharing, and I love sharing what I do, and and you never know. You may turn a light on with a kid that, of course, they may never become a sculptor, but just that little thing. You think back growing up, some of the smallest things that people shared with you had the biggest impact on your life.
Right. Oh, and I can't leave out Frank Murphy.
Frank's
I send people to Frank. And I also, if there's a lot of little girls, I send them to Jennifer, our friend up in Missouri.
Exactly.
She'll be back, right?
She's coming back.
Okay. Now, so how long have you actually been sculpting marble? Well, let me back up a minute. Was you very interested in art when you was real young?
Yes, my entire life.
Okay. That's what I thought.
I grew up drawing from the age I was 3 years old, and I used to joke that I started out as a fresco painter because I used to draw on the walls. And
right.
Mom loved it, Dad hated it.
Right.
Kind of thing. But just always been creative.
Craig, I'm gonna tell you, I've always been so jealous, y'all. I don't have that talent. I don't. It's hard. As much as I've watched y'all, and I watch y'all a lot. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me how you can get a piece of marble, and then it turns out to be a sculpt like y'all can make. I wish I had that talent, but I'm glad you do. Well, I don't have it.
marble carving and sculpting, you either love it or you don't do it.
Right.
The amount of time and the
Right. Well, I give y'all all the credit in the world. Now, that you said you did kind of study art in college. It just went since you started doing anything. Art's
Exactly.
been involved, right?
right.
Okay. Now, you said you've traveled to other countries to learn your craft. What are some of the pieces of work here that you're done and most proud of?
Really, hopefully, I'm proud of all of them.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure you
Silic-
got a couple that's
yeah.
real special to you.
well, here locally, Silicaga Emerging, obviously, that was the first piece that actually I was commissioned in 2011, and that's what started the whole sculptor in residence relationship with the Silicaga Arts Council, and kudos to the hospital. They're very supportive,
Right.
and obviously the entire community. But then
Library.
once upon a time, for the library across the street, that was a couple of years later, and that was just a fun project. And really, that piece, it's the grandfather reading to two grandchildren, and then you've got the empty cushion in between, and it's once upon a time, there's always room for one more. And it was really to encourage the community and visitors to touch the stone. It's okay. Have a seat, be a part of it, and really let this be a part of your lives again.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, they got away from dimensional stone back, I guess, really in the 80s.
Right.
And they, with the vision of Dr. Ted and at the time Sam Wright, they really tried to bring that back, and that this was our goal, and I think it's working.
Yeah, it's working. One of the things that I like to say, Craig, is that marble was here before we got here, and it's going to be here after we're gone.
It's
Because
not
from
going
what I
anywhere.
understand, we still got from 150 to 200 years of marble quarrying left.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be here long after we're gone and way before we got here.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Now, you talked about the pieces how many pieces do you actually have at the library?
Ooh, 1, 2, 3, roughly 7.
Okay. Okay. And
Counting the pieces out front.
all of them's your favorite?
Well, yeah, and I kind of joke that your sculptors are kind of like your kids.
Right.
They're all different,
Right.
but you love them the same,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Can we talk for a minute about the terms of endearment, the Helen Keller?
No, that's the warmth of enlightenment.
Okay, warmth of enlightenment. I know I
Kind
have.
of threw me off with that one.
Right. Well, I've had
Made me
two.
think of that movie.
I bought 2 of the hearts, and my wife just loved those. I mean, that's 2 of the best Valentine's gifts I've ever gave.
Those have gone all over the world. It's amazing, and really it started right here in Silicaga. And
Right.
Shirley Williams, I'll give her the credit. She's the one that encouraged me to make one for her, and then the librarians saw it, and they wanted one, and
Right.
then it's just exploded into,
Right.
what I love about that is everybody that comes can't afford, thousands of dollars worth of sculpture, but,
Sure.
these are priced at where it's a remembrance.
Yes.
And they go all over the world, and when people are wearing them, they're asked, hey, where did you get that? And they tell the story of Silicaga marble.
Right.
It's just a great business card for Silicaga.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed over the years, you and Frank, y'all really don't get a whole lot of sculpting done during the Marble Festival. And that's credit to y'all, because not only am I sending you these visitors and kids from different schools and places, but y'all also, especially you're all time helping the sculptors. I see them over there, and you just have to put your stuff down and show them. It's amazing how y'all communicate good together.
That's the beauty of this festival, though, that all the sculptors that come in, it's almost like a family, and there are new people that come into the family, and every once in a while there'll be somebody that is competitive and doesn't want to share, but they kind of weed themselves out. They don't come back the next year because, again, this is such a, you know, reunion for us every year. It's almost like a family reunion, and you got new family members coming in, and it's just wonderful.
And y'all are always showing each other little
Oh,
tricks
yeah.
that maybe the other one didn't know.
Exactly, and tools,
Yes.
you know, and Marco, the sculptor last year from Italy, you know, he and I were talking, and, you know, for him and for me too, we're pretty much locked in with commissions.
Right.
And the beauty of this is we don't know what our stone's going to look like when this starts. And so you get it, then you get to see the creativity of all these people.
Right.
And I mean, it's just beautiful to watch and watch how people's minds work and what they actually see in the stone. And, you know, and again, it's not a competition. It's really a celebration of the stone and the creativity of the sculptors.
Right. And every sculptor is different.
Exactly.
Right. And you know, I've had people ask me, well, some of those pieces are so high. Well, I'm at the point to where I see why they're so high.
Exactly.
It's the hours y'all spend on them.
Mm-hmm.
Not only just making the piece, but after you get your piece sculpted, it's just hours and hours on end of shining it up and make it presentable to the public. You know, it's amazing how many hours y'all put. And I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that's usually why the more hours y'all put into it, the more money it costs, right?
Exactly.
Well, you know, that's reasonable. You got to get paid for your time, right?
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm sure you do and you don't, right? It goes both
Exactly.
ways. Okay, now, tell us some of your experiences in the Sylacauga Marble Festival. Just something that you want to mention.
Well, first of all, the volunteers, you know, the library, you know, Robert, it's heartwarming to me the way that the community has really gotten behind this and the support that y'all give to the sculptors and you give to really everything.
Right.
And again, it just, I can't thank y'all enough. You know, all we have to do is what we do every day. We just go out there and carve, and y'all do
Yeah,
all
but
the,
well, let me tell you, even though I do what I do, if it wasn't for y'all, there wouldn't be no Marble Festival.
well, and
If we didn't have that marble here in Sylacauga, there wouldn't be no Marble Festival. So it all coincides, you know. And I feel like my job is to not only sell you, but it's also to sell my city.
oh, definitely.
And you know, no matter what the visitor wants, I got an answer for them.
yeah,
You know, anything that they want when they come to our city, I got an answer for them. So usually I got several answers. They usually waiting on me to quit talking, but that's okay too.
well,
You know,
and again, you know, I'm so grateful to this community that I don't mind being an ambassador at the Marble Festival and doing the talking because it's from the heart. You know, this is an easy sell for me.
right. Well, we sure appreciate everything you do, and you are our hometown sculptor.
Well,
You know, that's your label now.
Yeah.
Even though you're from Birmingham,
Yeah.
you make Sylacauga your home now, so you're our main guy.
well, I have no desire to move back to Birmingham.
Right. Well, we
You know,
sure
and
appreciate
that'll
you.
tell you how I feel about Sylacauga.
You like a small town living, don't you?
I love it.
I love it too. All right, now I want to talk about one more thing before we
Okay.
go. Kroger is also the president of the Lions Club, Sylacauga Lions Club here, and I want to personally thank y'all because y'all are well involved in the litter cleanup,
Definitely.
and you know how I feel about that.
Oh,
So I sure appreciate y'all's help. Could you kind of explain to the viewers really what the Lions Club is about?
The Lions Club was founded in 1917 by a gentleman in Chicago, and it was sitting around with his buddies and decided that he needed to do more to give back to the community. And then it was in 1925 that Helen Keller actually spoke to the Lions Club, and challenge them to take on curable blindness. And so really that's our main mission, and that's eye screenings and anybody that can't afford glasses, anybody that can't afford eye exams, we make sure that they're taken care of.
Right.
And Dr. Cantley works with us here locally. She's been phenomenal. But we have other areas, pediatric cancer, because also that affects vision, juvenile diabetes, which also oftentimes affects vision, environmental, and that's what we do with you, and,
Right.
and you've kind of set the gold standard on, really caring about your community and getting out there and making a difference. And it was easy for us to pull on your sleeve and say, hey, can we help you?
Right.
And the other is hunger. And hunger is a big focus for us here, because in this area, I mean, it's amazing how many people are at risk in terms of food. And so we do a lot with Alabama Childhood Food Solutions. As a matter of fact, we just voted to make a donation this week. And then also with the Care House here locally.
Right. So, Carter, we're about out of time, buddy, but I want to thank you, first of all, for being part of the Sylacauga family,
Yeah.
for being a sculptor with the marble, and also all the involvement that the Lions Club does. What a fantastic organization it is.
I'm just, like I said, grateful to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, this is home.
Well, you're loved, buddy.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Craig Brown, our sculptor. Marble Festival, April 2nd through the 13th. Make sure you come down to Central Park across from Bluebell and see Krager. Talk to any of the sculptors. They're all just as friendly, and they'll let you know what they do. And one thing I want you to do when you come down there, ask them where did they get their vision for the piece that they're sculpting. We'll see you next week.